In a world that increasingly values collaboration, empathy, and kindness, it's easy to confuse being nice with being overly accommodating. While kindness is a virtue that fosters connection, excessive niceness often traps individuals in a cycle of self-sacrifice and unspoken resentment. This pitfall is especially relevant in 2025, an era where personal boundaries are continually tested by societal expectations, digital interactions, and the pressure to please everyone around us. Being overly nice can stem from a desire to avoid conflict, to be liked, or even to prove one's worth. At first glance, this approach seems noble. After all, who doesn't want to be seen as agreeable, helpful, and easy to get along with? However, the cost of constantly putting others' needs ahead of your own is steep. It often leads to burnout, a loss of self-identity, and diminished confidence. When you're overly nice, you risk becoming a people pleaser. People-pleasing might seem harmless or even admirable, but it can have significant repercussions. For example, it often means saying yes to tasks, responsibilities, or commitments that you don't have the time, energy, or desire to take on. Over time, this drains you emotionally and physically, leaving little room for your own passions, goals, or well-being. Moreover, when you're always available and agreeable, others may begin to take you for granted, expecting your compliance without appreciating the effort you put in. The danger here lies in the imbalance. Relationships, whether personal or professional, should be built on mutual respect and understanding. If one party is always giving and the other is always taking, the dynamic becomes unsustainable. Excessive niceness creates a pattern where your needs are perpetually sidelined and the people around you grow accustomed to prioritizing their desires over yours. This imbalance doesn't just harm you, it undermines the potential for genuine reciprocal connections. Another pitfall of being excessively nice is the suppression of your authentic self. When you're focused on making everyone else happy, you may find yourself avoiding honest conversations or downplaying your opinions. This can lead to feelings of frustration and resentment as you sacrifice your truth to maintain the appearance of harmony. Over time, this suppression can erode your sense of self-worth, leaving you feeling unfulfilled and disconnected from your own identity. In 2025, the pressures to be overly accommodating are amplified by the digital age. Social media, workplace dynamics, and even cultural trends often promote the idea that we must always be accessible, responsive, and agreeable. It's easy to fall into the trap of constantly striving to meet others' expectations, fearing judgment or rejection if we don't comply. But here's the truth: no matter how nice you are, you cannot please everyone. There will always be someone who disagrees, criticizes, or wants more than you can give. The key to escaping this trap lies in understanding that being nice and being kind are not the same thing. Niceness often comes from a place of obligation or fear of conflict, rejection, or being perceived as selfish. Kindness, on the other hand, comes from a place of strength and authenticity. Kindness allows you to care for others without compromising your own needs or values. It's about showing empathy and compassion while maintaining boundaries that protect your energy and well-being. To break free from the pitfall of excessive niceness, start by examining your motivations. Are you being nice because you genuinely want to help, or because you fear the consequences of saying no? Practice asserting yourself in small ways. Decline an invitation that doesn't interest you, express your true opinion in a conversation, or set limits on how much time you're willing to give to others. Remember, self-respect is not the opposite of kindness, it's a vital component of it. When you respect yourself, you teach others to respect you too. You demonstrate that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable, and you encourage others to approach you with the same consideration. Excessive niceness might feel like the safest path, but it's ultimately a road to self-neglect. In 2025, let's redefine what it means to be kind. Let's move beyond superficial niceness and embrace a version of kindness that honors both ourselves and the people around us. When you balance empathy with self-respect, you create relationships, opportunities, and a life that are truly fulfilling. In a culture that often equates busyness with success and constant agreement with likability, the word no can feel uncomfortable to say. However, learning to say no is one of the most empowering skills you can cultivate, particularly in 2025, when demands on our time and energy are higher than ever. Saying no is not an act of rebellion or selfishness, it is an act of self-respect and prioritization. It is about taking control of your life and aligning your choices with your values, goals, and well-being. The fear of saying no is deeply ingrained in many of us. We worry about disappointing others, damaging relationships, or missing out on opportunities. Often we believe that saying yes will make us more liked, accepted, or valued. Yet ironically, a pattern of saying yes to everything can lead to exactly the opposite outcomes. Overcommitting leaves us stretched too thin, unable to give our best effort to any one thing. It fosters resentment and exhaustion, which can strain the very relationships we're trying to protect. Saying no, on the other hand, is a form of honesty. It communicates to others what you are willing and able to give, and it sets clear boundaries about your time and priorities. Boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges that enable healthy, sustainable relationships. When you set boundaries by saying no, you show others that you value yourself and your commitments. This respect for yourself often encourages others to respect you more, not less. One of the most common scenarios where saying no is crucial is in the workplace. In 2025, with the rise of hybrid work environments and increasingly blurred lines between professional and personal life, the ability to manage your workload is more important than ever. Colleagues or supervisors might ask for your help on projects, assign additional tasks, or expect you to be available outside of working hours. While collaboration and teamwork are essential, constantly saying yes to every request can lead to burnout. When you say no to tasks that don't align with your priorities or capacity, you protect your ability to focus on the work that truly matters. For instance, declining to join a non-essential meeting gives you more time to concentrate on a critical project. Turning down an opportunity that doesn't align with your career goals leaves space for one that does. Every no is a yes to something else, something more meaningful, important, or aligned with your purpose. The same principle applies to personal relationships. Friends and family may have expectations for your time, energy, or attention. While it's natural to want to support the people you care about, constantly putting their needs ahead of your own can lead to imbalance. By saying no, you teach those around you to respect your boundaries and recognize that your time is valuable. It also gives you the emotional capacity to show up fully for the moments and relationships that truly matter. Saying no doesn't have to be confrontational or harsh. There are many ways to decline gracefully while maintaining relationships and mutual respect. For example, be direct and honest, simply state your reason without over-explaining. I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm unable to take it on right now. Offer alternatives if possible, suggest another solution or resource. I can't commit to this, but perhaps name might be able to help. Express gratitude, acknowledge the request with kindness. Thank you for thinking of me, but I'll have to pass this time. Each time you say no, you reaffirm your own priorities and values. It is an act of empowerment that allows you to take control of your life, rather than letting others dictate how you spend your time and energy. Of course, saying no can be uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to saying yes. But like any skill, it gets easier with practice. Start small, say no to a minor request that doesn't align with your priorities. Over time, you'll find that saying no becomes a natural and liberating part of your communication. In 2025, the power of saying no is more relevant than ever. As the pace of life accelerates and demands multiply, the ability to prioritize your time and energy will determine your success, happiness, and well-being. Remember, every time you say no, you're not closing a door, you're opening one to the opportunities, relationships, and experiences that truly matter. Embrace the power of no, and you'll find yourself living a life that is not only more intentional but also far more fulfilling. Many people who strive to be kind and accommodating often face the risk of falling victim to emotional manipulation. This manipulation is subtle, calculated, and designed to exploit their good nature for personal gain. Recognizing and countering emotional manipulation is essential, especially in a world where social interactions both online and offline are more complex and pervasive than ever before. In 2025, being overly nice without discernment can make you a target for those who prioritize their own interests at the expense of your well-being. Emotional manipulation often starts innocuously, with small requests or subtle pressures that seem harmless on the surface. For instance, someone might frame a favor as a need or invoke guilt to compel you to act. Statements like "you're the only one I can count on," or "I thought you cared about me," are common tactics used to bypass your boundaries and appeal to your sense of responsibility. While helping others is a noble act, doing so out of guilt or obligation undermines the authenticity of your kindness and erodes your sense of autonomy. Overly nice individuals are particularly susceptible to this dynamic because they often prioritize maintaining harmony and avoiding conflict. Manipulators understand this and exploit it by creating situations where saying no feels like a betrayal or an act of selfishness. This creates a cycle where the more you comply, the more demands are placed upon you. Over time, this can lead to feelings of exhaustion, resentment, and even a loss of self-worth as your needs and desires are continually overshadowed by those of others. To break free from this cycle, it is crucial to develop an awareness of the tactics used in emotional manipulation. These tactics often include guilt tripping, gaslighting, playing the victim, and excessive flattery. Guilt tripping involves making you feel responsible for someone else's struggles or unhappiness, even when it is not your burden to bear. Gaslighting is a more insidious form of manipulation where the manipulator makes you doubt your perceptions or judgment, leaving you feeling confused and powerless. Playing the victim is another common strategy, where the manipulator exaggerates their hardships to elicit sympathy and compel you to act. Excessive flattery, while seemingly positive, can also be a tool for manipulation, as it creates a sense of obligation to reciprocate or comply with the flatterer's requests. Once you recognize these tactics, the next step is to build the confidence and assertiveness to respond effectively. This begins with setting clear boundaries and communicating them firmly. For instance, if someone tries to guilt you into taking on a task you're unwilling or unable to do, a straightforward response like "I understand where you're coming from, but I'm unable to help this time" can be both respectful and resolute. Boundaries are not just about protecting your time and energy, they are also about teaching others how to treat you with respect. It's important to remember that saying no or standing up to manipulation does not make you unkind or uncaring. In fact, it allows you to preserve your energy for the people and causes that genuinely matter to you. When you free yourself from the grip of manipulators, you create space to invest in relationships that are reciprocal and meaningful. These are the relationships where your kindness is appreciated rather than exploited, and where your value is recognized for more than just your willingness to accommodate. In addition to setting boundaries, cultivating emotional intelligence is another powerful tool against manipulation. Emotional intelligence allows you to understand and manage your own emotions while also recognizing the emotions and motives of others. This awareness helps you discern when someone's requests or behavior stem from genuine need versus manipulation. It also enables you to respond calmly and strategically rather than reacting impulsively or defensively. Another critical aspect of countering manipulation is trusting your instincts. If something feels off in an interaction, it probably is. Your intuition is a powerful guide, and listening to it can often help you detect manipulation before it escalates. However, trusting your instincts also requires overcoming self-doubt and the tendency to second-guess yourself, traits that overly nice individuals often struggle with. Remind yourself that your feelings and perceptions are valid, and don't be afraid to act on them. It's essential to recognize that not everyone will respond positively to your newfound assertiveness. Manipulators, in particular, may resist or push back when they realize their tactics are no longer effective. This resistance can feel uncomfortable, but it's a sign that you're reclaiming your power. Stay firm in your boundaries and remind yourself of the long-term benefits of standing your ground. Over time, as you build resilience and confidence, you'll find that the people who truly value you will respect your choices, while those who don't may naturally drift away. In 2025, as relationships grow more dynamic and multifaceted, the ability to recognize and resist emotional manipulation is not just a survival skill, it's a pathway to personal freedom and fulfillment. By learning to identify these tactics and responding with assertiveness, you protect your well-being and foster healthier, more authentic connections. In doing so, you embrace a version of kindness that is rooted in strength and self-respect, rather than one that leaves you vulnerable to exploitation. Authentic relationships are built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. They are a cornerstone of personal fulfillment and emotional well-being. However, when you fall into the habit of being excessively nice to everyone, you risk sacrificing the authenticity of your relationships. Niceness, while often well-intentioned, can sometimes create superficial connections that lack depth and reciprocity. In 2025, with social dynamics evolving rapidly due to digital interactions and changing societal norms, cultivating authentic relationships requires a deliberate shift from excessive niceness to meaningful engagement. When you're overly nice, you might find yourself avoiding conflict, suppressing your true opinions, or agreeing to things you don't genuinely support. While this may seem like the easiest way to maintain harmony, it often leads to relationships that are one-sided or transactional. For example, always saying yes to favors or requests might make you seem agreeable, but it can also attract people who see your kindness as an opportunity to exploit, rather than a quality to cherish. Over time, these interactions can leave you feeling undervalued and disconnected, as they are based on what you can provide rather than who you truly are. Authentic relationships, on the other hand, thrive on honesty and mutual effort. They are not built on the facade of perpetual agreement, but on the courage to share your genuine thoughts, feelings, and boundaries. Being authentic means showing up as your true self, even when it's uncomfortable or when it might lead to disagreement. This vulnerability fosters deeper connections because it allows others to see and appreciate you for who you truly are, not just the version of yourself that seeks to please them. To cultivate these kinds of relationships, you must first let go of the fear of disappointing others. Understand that saying no, expressing your preferences, or setting boundaries doesn't make you unkind, it makes you honest. People who genuinely value you will respect these boundaries and appreciate your authenticity. In contrast, those who are only interested in what they can gain from your compliance may distance themselves, and that's a blessing in disguise. It's better to have a few genuine connections than to be surrounded by people who don't truly care about you. Another critical aspect of building authentic relationships is learning to navigate conflict constructively. Disagreements are a natural part of any meaningful relationship, and avoiding them out of a desire to be nice often leads to suppressed emotions and unresolved issues. Instead of shying away from conflict, approach it as an opportunity to deepen your understanding of the other person and strengthen your bond. Honest communication, even when it's difficult, shows that you value the relationship enough to work through challenges rather than ignore them. In 2025, the digital world presents unique challenges and opportunities for authentic connection. Social media and online interactions often promote surface-level engagement, where the focus is on likes, comments, and appearances rather than genuine understanding. In this context, being overly nice might translate to agreeing with everyone's opinions, liking every post, or avoiding any controversial topics. While this might make you seem approachable online, it does little to foster real connections. Instead, prioritize quality over quantity in your digital interactions. Engage in meaningful conversations, share your true thoughts, and connect with people who align with your values. Building authentic relationships also requires self-awareness. Take the time to reflect on your own needs, values, and boundaries, When you have a clear sense of who you are and what you stand for, you're better equipped to form connections that are based on mutual respect and understanding. Authenticity starts with you, and the more you embrace your true self, the more likely you are to attract people who appreciate you for it. Another key element is reciprocity. Authentic relationships are a two-way street where both parties invest time, effort, and emotional energy. If you find yourself constantly giving without receiving the same level of effort in return, it's worth reevaluating the relationship. While it's natural for the balance to shift at times, such as when one person is going through a difficult period, there should always be an underlying sense of mutual support and care. Practice gratitude and recognition in your relationships. Authenticity doesn't mean being blunt or harsh, it means balancing honesty with kindness. Show appreciation for the people who value and respect you, and let them know how much they mean to you. Authentic relationships thrive when both parties feel seen, heard, and valued. In 2025, as the pace of life continues to accelerate and the pressures to conform grow stronger, authentic relationships offer a sanctuary of genuine connection and support. They remind us of what truly matters, not how many people like us, but how deeply we are loved and respected by those who truly know us. By letting go of excessive niceness and embracing honesty, boundaries, and mutual respect, you can create relationships that are not only more fulfilling but also more resilient in the face of life's challenges. Strength and empathy are often perceived as opposing forces. Strength is commonly associated with assertiveness, power, and independence, while empathy is linked to compassion, understanding, and sensitivity. However, these qualities are not mutually exclusive, they complement each other in profound ways. In 2025, as the world becomes increasingly interconnected and complex, it is more important than ever to redefine what it means to be strong and empathetic. True strength is not about dominating or suppressing others, and true empathy is not about being a pushover. Instead, the intersection of strength and empathy allows you to navigate life with confidence and compassion, setting boundaries without losing your humanity. Empathy is one of the most powerful tools for building meaningful connections and fostering understanding. It enables you to step into someone else's shoes, see the world from their perspective, and respond with kindness. Yet, empathy without boundaries can become a double-edged sword. When you constantly prioritize the needs of others over your own, you risk becoming overwhelmed, resentful, and disconnected from your sense of self. This is where strength comes into play. Strength provides the foundation for you to practice empathy without compromising your well-being. Strength in this context is not about physical power or emotional detachment. It is about having a clear sense of your values, priorities, and limits. It is the ability to say no when something doesn't align with your goals or when it threatens your mental or emotional health. It is the courage to stand by your convictions, even in the face of criticism or rejection. Strength empowers you to show empathy from a place of confidence and self-respect, rather than one of obligation or fear. To redefine strength and empathy, it's essential to first recognize the misconceptions that often surround these traits. Many people believe that being empathetic means saying yes to every request, being endlessly accommodating, or avoiding conflict to keep the peace. Similarly, strength is often misunderstood as being rigid, unyielding, or dismissive of others' feelings. In reality, the strongest people are those who can balance empathy with assertiveness. They can listen deeply and care genuinely while maintaining the boundaries that protect their own energy and integrity. Practicing this balance starts with self-awareness. You must understand your own emotions, needs, and triggers to respond effectively to others. When you are attuned to your inner state, you are less likely to react impulsively or to overextend yourself out of a misguided sense of duty. Self-awareness allows you to approach situations with clarity, ensuring that your actions are guided by your principles rather than external pressures. Another key aspect of balancing strength and empathy is learning to communicate effectively. Assertive communication is not about dominating the conversation or dismissing others' perspectives. It is about expressing your thoughts and feelings honestly and respectfully while being open to understanding the viewpoints of others. For example, if someone makes a request that you cannot fulfill, you can respond with empathy and strength by saying, "I understand why this is important to you, but I'm unable to help right now. Perhaps we can explore other solutions together." This approach acknowledges the other person's needs while firmly establishing your boundaries. Redefining strength and empathy also involves embracing vulnerability. Many people equate vulnerability with weakness, but it is, in fact, a profound form of strength. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you demonstrate trust, authenticity, and courage. Vulnerability is what makes empathy possible. It allows you to connect with others on a deeper level by acknowledging shared experiences and emotions. At the same time, it requires strength to open up and face the potential risks of rejection or misunderstanding. In 2025, as the pace of life accelerates and social dynamics grow more intricate, balancing strength and empathy is crucial for navigating personal and professional relationships. Consider how these traits can shape your interactions in the workplace. A strong and empathetic leader, for instance, listens to their team's concerns with genuine care, but also sets clear expectations and enforces boundaries. They create an environment of trust and collaboration while maintaining the focus and discipline needed to achieve collective goals. In personal relationships, this balance is equally vital. Being strong and empathetic allows you to support your loved ones without losing sight of your own needs. It helps you navigate conflicts constructively, fostering deeper understanding and connection. When both strength and empathy are present, relationships become more balanced, reciprocal, and resilient. In 2025, the world needs people who embody this balance more than ever. Whether you're leading a team, supporting a friend, or making decisions about your own future, let strength and empathy guide you. Together, these qualities enable you to navigate the complexities of modern life with grace and resilience, creating a legacy of kindness that is rooted in self-respect and authenticity.